feel lost wondering what to post on social media? I get it. You have to churn out all this content and it can seem super overwhelming to keep coming up with new ideas and strategies and this and that. In this video, we're going to talk all about how you can come up with fresh content in a consistent way to make sure you always stay consistent with your social media. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the bell to be notified every time a video goes live. You won't want to miss these incredible tips and resources to help you grow your business with social media. Hi everyone, I'm Kaz and I'm here to help you find paying clients with your social media. I'm super stoked to get started and to help you really make social media easy, more fun, less stressful, more simple, and more profitable. We're doing this to build our businesses, right? So we might as well figure that out. We might as well use what works, and we might as well make it work for us. So if you're wanting to make sure you always have something to post, what I really recommend you do is think about content pillars. Now, you may have heard this strategy. You may be like, oh gosh, content pillars, someone else is going on about this. But we're gonna go into a lot more depth with this. But I recommend, 3 or 4 is a good thing to have so that you always know what to post. So on those days where you're like, you know what, I'm not feeling inspired, I don't know what to post, I'm having trouble figuring things out, then you have categories and means in which to post. So one really has to be your business. Plain, this is what we're talking about. We have to loop it back to business in some capacity. Otherwise, you just wonder what in the world are we doing over here? So one really has to be your business, but then think about things that you could talk about all day long, come super easy to you. Maybe you're really passionate about coffee or where you live or your dogs or your family or working out or something that really lights you up that you'd be happy to talk about. And this is good and important to do because you are essentially your brand and you're multifaceted. And this is the edge that you have over big companies. Macy's can't really get away with talking about their favorite coffee because they're this company and yeah, there's a CEO, but who is that? What do they do? They haven't really made the decision to put the CEO as the forefront of their brand, unlike someone like Virgin, where everybody knows Richard Branson is. And people know things about Richard Branson. Do you think this is by accident? No, he has chosen to position himself so that people know him, CEO of Virgin, owner, founder, chairman, whatever his title is. And people know things about him. They know he likes adventure. They know he lives on an island. They know things about him, and that's very deliberate. So don't question this. Just pick some things, talk about them. For me, I love to talk about food. I love to talk about Vegas and being a Brit living in Vegas. Those are some of my pillars that I like to communicate and weave into my social media, and I highly recommend you pick some and you do the same. Now look, this is really common advice, but I want to add another layer to it. Basically, the way I like to structure this is I like to have a table and I like to have columns, and the columns are your content pillars. And then down here are your rows. And in your rows, there are several content types that I have found do really well. A couple of these include behind the scenes. So showing behind the scenes of your business, and then what's behind the scenes of your content pillars. So behind the scenes, so a content pillar of yours is, you want to share your love of coffee. What's a behind the scenes of coffee? Can you show you making your coffee? How do you source your beans? What milk do you use? How do you have it? Are you trying something new? What's new at Starbucks? These are all behind the scenes things of what can be used to build out content to make sure that you always have something to say. So we have your content pillars. This is a common advice. You've probably heard this before, but then we also have content types. So behind the scenes is one. Questions is another great one too. So in the case of coffee, you could say coffee or tea. That post I have used so many times across so many different channels, seems to always get a great response. People want to let you know coffee or tea. So you've got questions, you've got behind the scenes, funnies, so things that are jokes, funny things that make you laugh. Short form video right now is the king of content as I'm recording this. So really think about, okay, can I make short form? Can I make reels, TikToks, the short form video? Can I make these in all of these content pillars? So that's a great way to organize. When you find you do this and you have 4 and you have your content types, you will find that you will get between 10 to 20 posts just outlined from doing this exercise. So it's definitely something worthwhile to do and to sit down and really think about. Okay, so here's what I want to know. What questions do you have about creating social media posts? Are you stuck? Do you feel like some days you've got loads of things, some days you don't? What do you do on those days? I would love to know your questions in the comments below. So if all of this seems like too much work, I'm going to leave a link below to my Social Simplified text club. Now this is something you can join, and you will get a text message every day with brand new content ideas to make sure that you are consistent on your social media. So click the link below, join. We would love to have you. I would love to help you be consistent with your social media. You'll get a text message every day. It's going to be super simple for you to be consistent. All right, everybody, thank you so much. Don't forget to hit subscribe and let me know if there's anything that's troubling you that you want to see a video about. I would love to help you further.